That's everything. Buses, everything. So we are being very fiscally responsible and conservative. I don't want to take on a debt that I can't pay back comfortably.
Right.
Let me ask you, what's the, go back to a couple of things here. You know, at Madison getting their new school, how much, did that relieve any pressure off dentists down at East Limestone, student-wise?
Well, yes, you could say it relieved some pressure, but it created some others. You know, there's still the issues associated with land annexation and encroachments into Limestone County. What does that mean for county government? What does that mean for county schools? What does that mean for the cities? You know, it's created some other issues, and you know that might be a good topic for another day.
Is Creekside overcrowded?
Yes, sir, and that's what the next project. I'm glad you mentioned that. We approved. The Board of Education did a 22 to 26 classroom addition. Right now we have 18 portables at the school. That 22 to 26 classroom addition also includes a gymnasium now and an office suite. And the idea is to create a school within a school concept, dividing Creekside into a primary and elementary. The primary would be kindergarten through second grade. They'll stay in the existing part of the building. Third, fourth, and fifth will then move up to an upper elementary. In doing so, we are playing within the rules that the state have created. We earn some additional teaching and administrative units that the local taxpayers wouldn't have to pay for. So it's just working smart. We hope to be in a position to break ground on that project to start it in January, and along with the Career Technical Center, which is what we talked about.
We have to congratulate them.
And we are excited about that. That 23,000 square foot addition is going to support and sustain our growth. When I came here, we had 482 kids in the Career Technical program. Last year we had 526. This fall we're opening up with 849 kids in Career Technical Education programs. And the reason that we're doing that is we have to get people to understand that you can make a very comfortable living, a good, honorable living with your hands. People have forgotten that. People have been sold on a bill of goods that the only way you're going to ever be successful in life is if you go out and somehow get a 4-year degree. And that's not true. A bricklayer, a plumber, a welder, all of those are honorable trades, all of which can make more money than many of my teachers.
$25, $30 an hour, because we did some kids welding at Price.
Exactly. So you understand what I'm saying. Okay. And the average age of a skilled laborer in Alabama is 59, according to Workforce Development. And those are hard numbers that I received just within the last month. So we're trying to meet that need. We want to create a workforce that first brings in 21st century jobs like Remington Firearms, like Carpenter Industries, and all the other businesses that I failed to mention that have always been here.
Was that the same thing Dr. Cleveland was up here talking about back several months ago?
We've had them coming up here and talking, but it's being successful for you. Talk about the 2 winners that you had.
Well, that's right, absolutely. You know, we've competed successfully at the state and national level. This past year, we had 12 of our students, if memory serves, in several of our programs win top honors in the state, and they advanced on to national competition. I think it was in Omaha, Nebraska, if memory serves.
Talking about a total of, what, 6,000?
Yeah, there were 6,000 students competing in about 20 different program areas. We came back with silver medalists in computer programming and in cosmetology, and a gold medal in family and consumer science. The significance of that is, I want you to think and get your mind wrapped around that. Imagine a student running track and field, winning the 100-yard dash, being a state champion. All right, that's what those kids got at the state level. Now imagine that same child going to the Olympics and winning a gold medal.
It was
because
worldwide.
The young man that won a computer programming competition got the silver medal. He was the #2 computer programming student in America. Out of the thousands of school systems in all 50 states.
Brian Terry student?
No, I asked that too. He was not. Mr. James and Miss Black.
You know what I made in ag at New Hope High School?
It's hard to tell.
D-. That's amazing. I don't know.
So we were excited about that.
If people don't realize that's amazing.
We are, and our Board of Education is going to recognize these young people in August at our board meeting with special recognitions, and we're going to tie that into our Back to School Institute.
Or you could bring them up on the show.
Well, we would love to do that.
Let me go to one other thing here, and let's bring us up to date on that. I was out there the day after the tornado. You were out that morning. Sheriff called me, and I got up and shot the video that morning from the his helicopter. How much damage? You look around out there, you say, well, it doesn't look like the school's damaged that much, but the school really was damaged a whole lot more.
Yeah.
Now, are all those students back at Clements and back at?
Yes. We were able to get the students back into school 2 weeks after the storm had passed.
Wow.
And that was through the real efforts of the City of Athens utilities and the partnerships that we had. The day after the storm, I have 13 maintenance men. 6 of them sustained damage to their home, and they weren't able to go to work. But that day, that evening, I had phone calls from Ed Nichols in Decatur. I had phone calls from Billy Hopkins in Morgan County. I had phone calls from superintendents all in the region and said, how can I help? What do you need? And where do you want it? And literally, the next day, the roads were not even cleared. We had to get special passes with the sheriff's office to get them there. We had 45 skilled laborers from 6 different school systems that came in and helped us, including the City of Athens, including folks from Madison County. Yes, sir. They came
So
from...
they gave you, it's kind of like the utility people when they
Exactly.
what can we do to help you?
Exactly.
Well, I didn't never crossed my mind.
Well, but they were there, and it made a difference. You asked a question about the damage to the school. Of course, most folks thought that Clements took a direct hit because we were demolishing part of it as part of the renovation to rebuild it. And so it really did look like a tornado went through it.
But Blue Springs is the one that got the
Blue
damage.
Springs took the direct hit. Now, when Blue Springs was built, we had a gentleman that was over the EMA program then, Mr. Black, who I understand since then has passed away. When that school was being built, he went to the governor and asked for additional monies to harden that school. And the byproduct of that is that school, although damaged, took a direct hit, and it was very mild damage. $450,000 worth of roof work. That's it. On a $16 million school. So it was a hardened
Spencer
school.
was a good friend of ours, and so was his son, Jason.
Yeah, think highly of him too.
Yeah.
And he's a teacher at Clements.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Now, will he remain a teacher if he
Since he
wins?
just...
He will teach until such time as he takes office. At that time, he's going to have to choose.
So he literally cannot do both of them.
Well, I wouldn't see how he could do it. I mean, how would he be on the job as your commissioner during the day and teach a full teaching load? He's going to have
Build
to
up a lot of comp time.
No, we can't do them
All right,
both.
before we wrap this up, Dr. Sisk, first of all, thanks for coming up. You're welcome anytime, and bring those kids up anytime, and your culinary kids too when they're doing. So I know they win a lot of stuff too, like the beef cook-off, whatever all they got going on. What else do we need to know about Limestone County schools as we wrap up?
October's going to be big for us. In October, you're getting an inside scoop here. Inside
Oh,
scoop.
he likes that.
I like that.
Exclusivity.
What is
We're going to unveil our Sustainable Solutions campaign. We'll be the first school system in the state of Alabama to go green. This campaign will renovate and upgrade every school in Limestone County.
Yeah.
And it will call for, we'll change out some 800,000 light fixtures, every HVAC system. We'll put in voice over IP. We will become very energy efficient, put in drop ceilings in places we don't already have them. The Sustainable Solutions campaign, just by changing the water fixtures, we will save 90 million gallons of water over a 20-year life cycle just under basic consumption rates.
What's the biggest problem you have to deal with the school system? Students.
The biggest problem, well, golly, the biggest problem that I deal with is time. I just don't have enough time to be where I need to be.
One other quick shout out right now, give it out to the great sheriff here. I understand you went horseback riding with him.
I did. He was a delight. The sheriff treated us well. My wife and I. My wife's a horse enthusiast. Grew up in Northern Virginia and grew up riding horses. So it had been a long time since she'd had that opportunity to ride a horse, and she was riding it right and correct, and I was just hanging on.
Just hanging on. So anyway, do you have any disciplinary problems? I mean, drugs? Is that something that is a major deal, or is it not that big of a deal?
You know what? In contemporary culture, we're going to deal with that, and it is an issue. But we've made a very clear position made known to kids. Prior to my arrival, we did not engage in the practice of bringing drug dogs through the schools. It was just something the administration chose not to do. When I arrived, we changed that. The increased exposure with our school resource officer campaign, we now have 18 school resource officers in our schools. All right, we didn't have it 6 when I got here.
Fantastic.
All right, so that plus we're training actively, and we've taken a very hard-line approach. The Board of Education has supported me in the position. If you bring it to school, I don't care if you bring it for personal use or if you bring it to sell it, I'm not making that distinction. I'm not an attorney. If it's on campus and it's against the law, you will be expelled. No ifs, no ands, no
Dr.
buts
Sisk,
about
you've
it.
been a delight. Look forward to seeing you back up here. Cruising with Joseph, the Mustang man, will run tomorrow. Since he's out of town, he ain't going to know it anyway. So we'll run him tomorrow, plus the video that Tom and I were on the scene yesterday at the press conference. Dr. Sisk, again, thank you, Nene. Thank you much.
Glad to be here.
We'll see y'all tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
Bye.